We're taking a live look over Honolulu. Lots of clouds, but in some portions of the island chain, we got some rain as well. Our island weather chief meteorologist Pete Caggiano in the house with our first forecast. Hey, Pete.
That's right. It's very wet weather for the eastern end of the state. We have flood warnings in effect for the Big Island, and today is a weather alert day due to that risk for flooding that we've seen across the Big Island, mainly windward spots, but also to a lesser extent, Maui, you're under a flood watch as well. So far, though, we haven't seen as much heavy rain there. We have a flash flood warning in effect for windward sections of the Big Island until 5 p.m. We'll see if that gets extended. Flood watch is in effect until 6 p.m. on Tuesday. A warning means it's happening now. There's life-threatening conditions, so right now we want to stay off the roads there on the windward side. A watch means it could happen in the future, so we have the potential to see additional rainfall as we head through the rest of the night and certainly into tomorrow as well. In the Hilo, scattered showers, rainfall rates coming in at times as much as a half an inch to over an inch per hour. We'll continue to watch some pockets of heavier rain there. We'll go to expand on out, show you what we have across Maui. Not as much rainfall here, but still dealing with showers, and we're going to continue to watch the potential for a risk for rain for windward sections of the Big Island. Not as much for Oahu, and as we head over towards Kauai, looking at rainfall coming in right now, relatively limited, so just a few areas of showers there. Expanding on out, as we head through the night, we'll continue to watch the rain potentially for the Big Island and into Maui as we move into the night, and then we'll see trade showers elsewhere. So it looks like a wet string of days. More of this coming tomorrow. We'll have a little bit more on that coming up a little bit later.
All right, mahalo, Pete. And look, he's joining us on the call. Right on.
Here I am.
Yes. It's that kind of a day.
Absolutely, weather alert day. And I noticed that because we looked at some of the cameras earlier for like Waikoloa Village and Kapolua, it's a little bit drier on the west side. So
yes,
most of the rain is coming on the windward side?
Yeah, windward sections are where we're seeing the heavy rainfall, and that's where we're going to see the biggest risk. So windward, Big Island kind of getting hit the hardest. Also windward Maui. Won't see quite as much on the leeward sections.
What about Oahu and Kauai?
So Oahu and Kauai right now looking pretty good. I think tomorrow we'll start to get some rain heading our way, and we'll have the potential for some scattered showers here as well. But so far, we do not have flood watches for us yet. We do have a front heading our way, so it could get a little wetter Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have higher rain chances, but so far the risk for flooding is not quite as high as what we have on the eastern end of the state, but still prepare for rainfall.
No, because we're officially in the wet season.
Yes.
That's why, right? It's official.
It's official, yeah. It's official.
From October through April of next year.
Yeah.
And, you know, it seemed like we had kind of a dry summer. My grass all died. It's coming back. Thank you. Thanks for, I know you guys are concerned. Can you give us a kind of an overview of this year's wet season?
Well, we'll talk specifically about Davey's yard, but you know what? The good news is we do have some wet weather on the way, and we are expecting this wet season to be a little bit wetter than normal, and that's good news because we need the rainfall. But unfortunately, as we're seeing right now with that flood watch in effect, you can see images like this we're seeing on our screen where we can see this is all stock footage, of course, not happening now, but it does show you what can happen when we have the flooding. And we do expect more of these storm systems, more Kona lows, more potential for flash flooding. So that's going to be the threat. We want the rain. Of course, we were very dry over the past year, so we need the rainfall, but we don't want it all at once. But unfortunately, that's kind of how it comes.
Can I ask you real quick, just if you can, because you mentioned Kona low, just kind of refresh our memory. What is a Kona low?
Well, a Kona low is just basically a low pressure center west of the state or southwest of the state, and that brings in the potential for heavy rain. It kind of just parks out there and just pumps the moisture and brings heavy rain not only to windward sections, but more likely out towards leeward spots and spots that don't normally get the heavy rain and are a little bit more susceptible to potential for flooding.
Got you.
Pete, what kind of tips do you have for our viewers during this wet season that's coming?
Yeah, the tips are whenever we get these weather alert days, you want to really pay attention and just kind of prepare for, if you live in a property that generally floods, just want to kind of prepare for that. So obviously we don't want to drive during these flash flood warnings. So on the Big Island, for instance, right now, driving not a good idea on the windward side. Of course, we want to look at the forecast. We don't want to go on a hike if we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have potential for flash flooding. You want to watch streams. They can rise very quickly in these situations, and just be extra safe, especially when you're driving. Best advice is just not to drive in these situations. If you do have to drive, of course, take it slow and just pack your patience, as road closures and landslides are always possible with these storm systems.
I love what you said about that. Pack your patience.
Yeah, you always have to do that around here.
That's the one thing that everybody loses, you know, during
times
like this.
It can happen easily, yeah.
And then the road is slick and you just kind of like
just trying
possibly
to get home.
some people road raging, not us. What about the potential for lightning strikes?
That's going to be with us as well. So when with these the storm systems, the coastal lows, the disturbances, you have a little bit better chance for thunderstorms. So that's always a threat. We want to remind everyone, if you hear the thunder, that means the lightning is close enough to potentially hit you. So you want to get indoors and just be extra safe.
Right on.
Love that.
I'm just so
lucky.
stoked that we get him on our team. Right?
We're
This is
so
awesome.
lucky.
Thank you.
Man. And he's helping us to be preventative in these measures.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the storm comes before you start preparing for it.
Yeah, and just briefly for the next couple of days, because you mentioned at the top, we do expect rain. Even we're not seeing it here across Oahu and Kauai, but I think the next few days are going to be somewhat wet, so we kind of want to prepare for that. Of course, I think something's happening tomorrow that people might be interested in, that might be affected by the rain. So,
Definitely election day. You in vote already?
Putting Lina on the.
Stop putting me on blast.
Okay, let's do something happier then. How's that? National Candy Day today. So here's our Use Akamai question.